Sorry. Okay. Hare Krishna. Welcome to another live stream about Chaitanya Lila, about Lord Chaitanya here in Sridhar Mayapur. Today, we want to delve into the stories about Nimai's mischief by the Ganga. Mother Ganga, River Ganga, has long felt a great longing. Ever since Krishna had appeared in Vrindavan 5,000 years ago and had so much fun at River Yamuna, Mother Ganga also longed to show her love, her service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She also wanted to contribute to his joy. Of course, the Supreme Lord does not need anybody to make him happy, but nevertheless, it's a very natural urge that if we love someone or if we like someone, we want to make that person happy. And Mother Ganga wanted to make the Supreme Personality of Godhead happy. So she wanted to serve him. But how could she serve him if he's not present? But she had this longing and great longing. Please, my dear Lord, I also want to serve you. And because Ganga's desire to serve Krishna was so great, the Lord made it possible. When Krishna appeared as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appeared in Navadvip on the banks of Mother Ganga. In those days, it was like that hundreds of people gathered daily at the bathing places of the river. There was a wide variety of people who came to the river. They came there to bathe, of course. There were like traveling hermits in their saffron-colored robe, but there were also householders, men, women, old, young, children, people from various backgrounds. And as Nimai grew up, he spent practically the whole day on or in Ganga. He was a very restless child. He was an extremely cheeky child as well. And his friends were like him. So when these boys played together in the water, what they did very often, or at the banks of the river, they made quite a mess there. They played a lot of tricks on the residents of Mayapur. So the residents of Mayapur had two opinions about it. On one point, they liked it. They really enjoyed this exchange with Nimai when he came and annoyed them, and they were kind of even waiting for it. But on the other side, it was too much. He was just annoying them too much. These pranks were just, he should stop it. Why is this Nimai always like harassing us and not leaving us alone? So there were these two emotions in the residents of Mayapur. On one time, they liked this exchange, this cheeky boy who's like coming and, pranking them. And on the other side, extreme annoyment. So what was Nimai and the boys doing at Ganga? For example, Nimai was splashing the people who came there for bathing. He was splashing them with water from his feet. You have to know the people had no idea how extremely fortunate they were. They got a personal shower from the feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they didn't know. For them, it was just a cheeky little boy with a little special aura, or charisma, little special charisma, but they didn't know it's the Supreme Lord. He was just, imagine you going for a bath and then some neighbor boy is coming and splashing you out of this. You can take it as a fun, okay, that's one thing. But if it's too often and you say stop and he's not stopping, Nimai never stopped. He always splashed more. And splashing water with his feet was just the beginning. He teased further. For example, he was taking water in his mouth. And then he was not just spitting the water out on people who came randomly, who were bathing randomly. No, he specifically spat with the Ganges water from his mouth on brahmins who were doing their worship at Ganga. And then they were thinking, oh, super. Now I wanted to do just my worship, and now I'm muchi, I'm dirty because this boy splashed water on me from his mouth, so I have to take bath again. So this Brahmin took a bath again in Ganga, cleaned himself, and when he came out, what did Nimai do? Did he stop? Did he do something else? Was he just peacefully playing with his boys? No. He again splashed this Brahmin who just came freshly showered, freshly taken bath out of Ganga. Nimai spat again water from his mouth on the Brahmin. Can you imagine? Or when Brahmins came and chanted their Gayatris in the Ganga, so they coming, they standing till their waist in the water, they are starting to chant the mantra, and then actually you concentrate on the mantra and you're only supposed to speak the mantra, but then Nimai sneaked underwater, grabbed the Brahmin's feet underwater and pulled them away. What is this? What a sneaky, sneaky boy. Or when someone was doing Shiva worship or any worship, but especially Shiva worship at the gangs of the Ganges, it was the custom that they sometimes made a Shiva lingam out of the mud of the Ganga. So they formed a Shiva lingam and started to worship this Shiva linga. And sometimes in the middle of the puja or in the beginning of the puja, Nimai would come running, grab this Shiva linga and just run away. He just ran off with the object of worship. Or, even worse, he grabbed the Shiva lingam, put it aside, and put himself on the place of worship. How would you react? How would you react if you're in the middle of worship and then the neighbor's boy is coming and doing such kind of mischief? Would you be mad? Would you be angry? Would you be calm and try to explain it's not proper to do so? Would you complain to his parents? What would you do? But this wasn't the end. Sometimes he climbed on the Brahmin's shoulders and he was screaming, I am Lord Shiva, I am Lord Shiva. And then he jumped into the water from the shoulders of the person who was standing at the shore. Or even worse, he would exchange the clothes. But not just the clothes from one man to another man. He would exchange the clothes from the man and the woman. So when the person came out of the water and wanted to dress himself, he just found a sari and could not find his own clothes anymore. Can you imagine? And Nimai wasn't just playing tricks with the man and with the Brahmins. He also harassed the young girls who came to the river with their offerings. Nimai took a great, great pleasure in stealing these offerings, or making the girls to give him these offerings. If the girls gave these offerings voluntarily to Nimai, he blessed them and said, you shall have a handsome husband, a very educated man, and you will have 7 children. At that time, it was a great blessing. And usually the girls were very happy when Nimai then blessed them with a handsome, educated husband. But if the girls didn't give the offerings voluntarily, if they tried to keep the offerings, then Nimai cursed them. You will be the 4th wife of an old man. And then the girls would be scared and give these offerings freely to Nimai, after which he would bless them again with a handsome, educated husband and 7 children. Of course, all this unrest and all this cheekiness and all this tricks and pranks created a great disturbance. And for some, it was just too much. So they decided to complain. They decided to complain to Nimai's father and to Nimai's mother about their son. So some furious brahmins stormed to Jaganath Misra, Nimai's father. So they came to his house and they told him, "Dear Jaganath Misra, you are a very good person, we know, but we have to complain about your son. Your son is misbehaving. He does not allow us to perform our daily worship, our daily pujas at the Ganga, and he does not even allow us to just take our daily bath at the Ganga. He's disturbing us. He's splashing water on us from his mouth and his feet. He is disturbing our meditation and is very, very rude to us. He is making fun of us and is asking us, 'Who are you meditating about? I am the one you should worship in this Kali Yuga. In this Kali Yuga, I am Lord Narayan himself.' Your son, my dear Jaganath Misra, is telling this to us." So the men were greatly disturbed, and all their disturbances, they flowed out of them to Jaganath Misra. And Jaganath Misra was standing there hearing all these complaints about his sweet little son. But it wasn't the end. The Brahmins continued. "He is running away with our clothes. He is coming when I prepared a worship for Lord Vishnu and had collected all the ingredients, and I had prepared a nice seat for him. I just took a bath before I could start my worship. So when I came out of my bath, I saw Nimai sitting on Vishnu's seat. He had eaten all the offerings, and the ones he did not like, he just scattered them everywhere. And when I confronted him, he said to me, 'Why are you sad? The Lord of your worship has eaten your offering.'" Oh, we know that is true, of course. We know Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Lord, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the worshipable Lord has really eaten all the offerings. But the Brahmin didn't know. The Brahmin didn't know the disturbance came directly from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when Jaganath Misra heard all these complaints about his son, he couldn't believe his ears. And it still didn't stop. There even came more complaints. When I wanted to chant my Gayatri, Nimai sneaked down underwater and pulled away my feet. He keeps taking away my clothes and my flowers. He's stealing my Bhagavad Gita scriptures. He was harassing my young boy, my young son. He was putting water in his ear and he started to scream horribly. More and more complaints are coming. What did I forget? Oh yeah, the shoulder one. He climbed on my shoulder and called, "I am Maheshwar, I am Maheshwar," and then jumping from my shoulder. Or when I come out from my bath, he is throwing sand at me so that I have to take bath again. And when then I come again clean out of the river, again he is throwing sand at me. And his friends are doing the same. They're joining him. They're joining him in this mischief. And he is mixing the clothes. When I come out of the water, I cannot find my clothes. He put saris where my dhoti should have been. We know, Jaganath Misra, you are very generous and kind, but your son is doing this mischief every day by the river. He stays for so long till past after 2 and harasses everyone. He teases everyone. And this the Brahmins complained to Jaganath Misra. But not only the Brahmins had come. The young girls had come to Sudevi and complained to her. They bombarded her the same way as the brahmins just had done to Jaganath Misra. They said, he is stealing our clothes. He is using terrible swear words, and when we correct him, he is arguing with us and splashing us with water from his mouth. When we bring fruits and flowers to the Ganga to observe our religious rituals, he scatters them and spoils them. And then he waits until we finish our bath and he throws sand at us and some seeds which are really hard to take off from our hair. Or sometimes he sneaks behind us and suddenly screams in our ear. So we are scared. And my dear Sachidevi, your son is doing this every day. He behaves like the prince of Vrindavan, Krishna. My dear Sachidevi, please take our complaints as an offense, but please correct your son. His behavior will not be nicely received in a town like Nadia. So Sachidevi took a deep breath, smiled at the young ladies, and told them, when Nimai comes home, I will punish him, and he will never bother you again. So the girls were very happy with this. They took the dust from Sachidevi's feet, put it on their head, and they went back to Mother Ganga. Regardless of how much everyone complained and how much everyone suffered from this pranks and cheekiness of this mischief of Nimai, actually everyone also felt a great satisfaction from his presence. So when Nimai's father, now really angry, when Nimai's father set off to the Ganges in search for Nimai to punish him, to ask him why he's doing all this, the young girls, they took pity on Nimai and they warned him. Listen, Vishwambar, your angry father is coming. You have to flee immediately. He will punish you heavily. So Nimai left. He left the Ganges where he actually should be. But before he left, he told his friends, when my father is coming, you tell them that I was not here. You have not seen me. You don't know where I am. You waiting for me yourself. Okay? So Nimai returned home on another route so that he would not run into his father. So he returned home, and when Jaganath Misra arrived at the bathing place, he was looking for Nimai everywhere. Where is this cheeky little boy? Where is he? All these brahmins have just complained to him. Where is he? I cannot see him. And he asked the boys, where is Vishwambar? Where has he gone? He actually asked this in a very angry voice. He was angry. Mischief. His son did some mischief. So the boys replied, we don't know. He didn't came today for his Ganga bath after school. He must have been gone directly to his home. We are waiting for him ourselves. We don't know where he is. So Jaganath Misra kept on looking. But then the Brahmins told Jaganath Misra, your son went home. He must have run off in fear. But actually, dear Jaganath Misra, our complaints, we just complained to you. Yeah? We came to your house and we complained about all the things your son had done. Don't take it so seriously. He's a very pleasant son, and it's all right. He's just a kid, and it wasn't so worse. Let it be. It's all fine. So Jaganath Mishra was very puzzled. What is this? Just some minutes ago, these brahmins came to my house, complained one after another, one after another. One complaint, it was still ringing in his ears, and now he came to rectify the behavior of his son. These Brahmins said, the same Brahmins said, oh, it wasn't actually so worse. It's all right, he's just a little boy. So Jaganath Misra was very puzzled. First they complain, and when they want to punish him, they protest. And Jaganath Misra said to them, Nimai is a son to all of you, and when he does something that troubles you, then I am bound to rectify this. I'm bound to ask for forgiveness. So he embraced everyone and assured that it was really okay for them and that they were fine. And with this, he went home again. So in the meantime, Nimai was also gone home. He carried his books in his hands. He had spots of ink on his body. It is described with this ink spots. His golden complexion looked very, very beautiful. So when he came out, he called out to his mother, Mother, I'm home. Give me some oil. I want to take a bath. Mother Sachi was very, very happy that her son Nimai came home. He gave her the oil, but while she was giving him the oil, she was thinking, what did the Brahmins and the girls just say? His whole body is covered in ink. There is no sign that he was at the river. He's wearing the same clothes like he wore at school, and no sign at all that he already had taken a bath. So while Sachadevi was wondering about this, Jaganath Misra came home again. Vishvambar, very happy, with a smiling face, climbed on his father's lap. And, of course, Nimai charmed his father so much that Jaganath Misra forgot all the complaints and forgot what was happening and was just in a loving embrace with his son. So after enjoying this embrace and his association with his son for a while, Jaganath Misra remembered. And he also saw his boy covered in dust and no signs of taking a bath, and he was also astonished. And he asked Nimai, what kind of a boy are you? You know what just happened? There came a lot of Brahmins in our house, and they complained. They complained that you don't allow people to bathe in peace. You are stealing. You are disturbing people. You are destroying offerings to Lord Vishnu. Why are you doing this, Nimai? You know who Lord Vishnu is. Why are you acting like this? Nimai just answered, I haven't gone to take a bath. These people are falsely accusing me. And when they will continue like this, I will indeed start to misbehave and I will start to annoy them. And with this, the Lord took his oil and made his way to the Ganga. And there he met his friends again, who were laughing and joking and hugging and embracing him and congratulating him about his newest prank, that he was so clever to save himself from a heavy punishment from his father. So, and with this, Nimai went back to his water sports with his friends again. Mother Sachi and Jaganath Misra, in their house at home, they thought seriously about the complaints. They were thinking, these complaints made against Nimai, there are certainly no lies. The brahmins would not just come to our house and lie to us. There must be truth in it. But on the other side, there was no indication Nimai had taken a bath. Everything was as it should be. His body was covered in dust, he was wearing the same clothes, the clothes were dry, even his hair was dry. He had the books. Then Jaganath Misra said, I think our son might not be an ordinary person. Some very special, greatly personality maybe appeared in our house, but I don't know. So Jaganath Misra deeply pondered, seriously. But he couldn't grasp it. He couldn't grasp the truth of these transcendental activities. And we also, for us, it's also very hard to grasp the truth about these transcendental activities. But we can hear again and again about them and then slowly dive deeper into them. And we can hear from advanced souls some commentaries. And then slowly we learn about the Lord. We learn what He is doing. We can meditate about what He is doing. And in this way, the residents of Mayapur, so the residents of Mayapur, they are like enjoying actually these exchanges with Nimai very, very much, even if he teased them all day long. But the residents were secretly very, very pleased by these exchanges. And if they were honest, then they were even waiting for Nimai to tease them again. And in this way, Nimai put the inhabitants of Navadvip in Mayapur in transcendental happiness when they took their bath by Mother Ganga. So, this was one mischief, Nimai at the Ganga. But you can imagine Jaganath Misra, he was like thinking over and over again, what can I do? What can I do that this boy is understanding and that this boy is behaving correctly? So one day it happened, or one evening actually, it happened that Jaganath Misra couldn't fall asleep. He kept thinking about Nimai. Nimai worried him a lot. It was not just that he's doing this mischief at the Ganga. He was also ignoring his duties, for example. He did not do his homework and he did not do his household duties. And when Jaganath Misra tried to talk to him, he could literally hear Nimai's thoughts. I'm about to leave. I want to go to my friends. I want to play with them. Maybe for some mischief at the Ganga. Maybe I will tease one or two brahmins or steal some offerings. But Jaganath Misra was trying to come through to his son that he understands what is a right behavior and what is wrong behavior and what should he do and what should he not do. But he couldn't not make him understand the importance of fulfilling his duties and behaving rightly, like what Jaganath Misra thought was rightly. So in this way, he was lying in his bed and was contemplating what he could do. And if it would have been only this, then new thoughts arrived in Jaganath Misra's mind. Once Nimai had sat on a pile of garbage, on a pile of used pots, clay pots and bowls. And he had played there on these used clay pots. And many times Jaganath Misra had explained him that these are remnants of food, and not only that they are smelly and moldy. This place where the dirty pots are, these clay pots, this place is also littered with karma from all kinds of creatures. Leftover food is transmitting karma. And Jaganath Misra is belonging to a Brahmin caste, and Brahmins are very, very have a very high cleanliness standard. So Jaganath Misra, belonging to his priesthood, was sure, oh my God, my son does not even the simplest principles of clean and dirty. I'm sure the villagers are making fun already about me. My own son does not understand the simple rules. But the situation with the clay pot got solved after some time. Sachimata was pleading and begging, and finally Nimai came down. But he also had argued with them that, oh, everything that comes from me cannot be dirty. How can anything that comes from me can be dirty? Oh. Of course, in a transcendental way, we know Nimai is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and nothing that comes from God can be dirty. But Jaganath Misra thought at that time, oh, my child, how can you understand that these pots are dirty? How can I make you understand? So he tossed around in bed and was thinking about all these situations, and how can he make his son understand? How can it happen? There were more situations like this, where Jaganath Misra was just overwhelmed and didn't know what to do. One evening, for example, the family and some friends had gathered at the veranda of the house. It was just the day came to an end, and it was a very pleasant atmosphere. Everything came together again. The crickets were chirping, the frogs were croaking, the leaves were rustling in the trees of the yard. The moon came between, you could see the moon between the palm trees. And suddenly, Nimai started to cry bitterly, like just started to cry and shouted for his mom. He called out for his mom, "Mom, Mom," and he cried and cried and cried. So when Mother Sachi came, she of course tried to calm him down, but he would not calm down. And she said, what do you want? I give you anything. What do you want? But please, my dear child, stop crying. And you know what Nimai said? What simple wish this little Nimai had? He said to his mother, "Bring me the moon. I want that you bring me down the moon and give it to me." Mother Sachi was laughing. "My dear son, I cannot bring you down the moon. I never heard of anyone who can do this. Who has the power to give the moon to you? That's not possible. But you said you would give anything to me, everything. Why did you say so if you cannot bring me the moon?" And then again, Nimai started to throw a tantrum and crying loudly, and he grabbed his mother's sari and he grabbed his mother's sari and he stomped with his feet on the floor and he rubbed his eyes and he cried and then shouted again, "Bring me the moon, bring me the moon," and then rolling over in the dust. So one moment he was making the request, another moment he was crying and rolling and pulling his mother's hair. Finally, after all such a big fuss, Mother Sachi could calm him down. She said, my dear son, please understand, you are brilliant as 10,000 moons. The moon is ashamed of you. He is hiding in the sky when he sees you. I cannot bring him down. There are millions of moons shining in your body. So the moon up in the sky is hiding because he's ashamed. Please stop crying now." And with this, finally, Nimai stopped crying and asking for the moon. But for everyone who saw this, it was like, wow, what should we do with our little Nimai? So all these situations with his young son were in his mind, and finally, after so many thoughts coming up and rolling over and again thinking what he can do, finally Jaganath Misra could fall asleep. And in that night, when he worried so much about his son, at that night, he had a dream. And in this dream, a Brahmin appeared to him. The Brahmin said to Jaganath Misra, "Why do you keep correcting Nimai? He is of a divine nature. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You don't need to correct him. Don't do this." Jaganath Misra looked at the Brahmin in his dream. And then he replied, "Even if my son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, in this life I am his father, and my duty is it to discipline him. Therefore I will continue to do my duty. I will perform my duty as a..." Sorry. I will perform the duty. I hope your ears were okay. Okay. The Brahmin came, said, "You don't need to punish Nimai because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead." So Jaganath Misra replied, "Even if he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I am his father and I will do my duty. I need to correct him. That's my duty." And with this, the Brahmin just smiled and disappeared. In Chaitanya Mangala, the story is slightly different. The story is told that Nimai personally came to Jaganath Misra in a dream and told him, "I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so you don't need to punish me." But the reply from Jaganath Misra was the same, that I'm your father. It's my duty to correct you. So the next day, when Jaganath Misra woke up, he of course told Sachimata about his dream, and that also the villagers, he told the villagers about his dream, that this Brahmin came to him and told him that Nimai is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and everyone's hearts filled with great joy and happiness. What? They had the Supreme Personality of Godhead in their village, in their house? They had the association, really? How fortunate they were. But soon this knowledge that Vishwambar, little Nimai, should be God, slowly faded away, and everyone forgot again. Everyone forgot that Nimai should be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And again, for Jaganath Misra, for Sachimata, and for all the villagers, Nimai was just a cheeky, little, mischievous boy with a special kind of charisma. So, and with this, my dear ladies and gentlemen, our today's live stream, our today's story is already at an end. And thank you very much all for joining. So I hope to see you next week again for another story time about Lord Chaitanya and his pastimes here in Sri Mayapur. Hare Krishna.